Srimad Bhagavatam 5:18, 30 and 31. Text 30. Om Namo Bhagavate Akupārāya Sarvasattva Guna Visheshanāya Anupalakshita Sthanāya Namo Varshmane Namo Bhumne Namo Namo Vasthanāya Namaste. 5:18:31. Yadrupametan nijamāyayārpitam arthasvarupam bahuruparupitam sankhyanayasya yathopalambhana tasmai namaste vyapadesha rupine. 5:18:30 word to word synonyms. Om, O my Lord. Namah, respectful obeisances. Bhagavate, unto you the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Akupārāya, in the form of a tortoise. Sarvasattva Guna Visheshanāya, whose form consists of Shuddha Sattva, transcendental goodness. Anupalakshita Sthanāya, unto you whose position is not discernible. Namaha, my respectful obeisances. Varshmane, unto you who, although the oldest, are unaffected by time. Namaha, my respectful obeisances. Bhumne, to the Great One who can go everywhere. Namah Namaha, repeated obeisances. Avasthanāya, the shelter of everything. Namaha, respectful obeisances. Te, unto you. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation: O my Lord, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you who have assumed the form of a tortoise. You are the reservoir of all transcendental qualities, and being entirely untinged by matter, you are perfectly situated in pure goodness. You move here and there in the water, but no one can discern your position. Therefore, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Because of your transcendental position, you are not limited by past, present, and future. You are present everywhere as the shelter of all things, and therefore I offer my respectful obeisances unto you again and again. Please repeat. O my Lord, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, who have assumed the form of a tortoise. You are the reservoir of all transcendental qualities, and being entirely untinged by matter, you are perfectly situated in pure goodness. You move here and there in the water, but no one can discern your position. Therefore, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Because of your transcendental position, you are not limited by past, present, and future. You are present everywhere as the shelter of all things, and therefore I offer my respectful obeisances unto you again and again. Purport. In the Brahma Samhita, it is said, Goloka eva nivasatya khilatma bhutah. Brahma Samhita 5.37. The Lord always remains in Goloka, the topmost planet in the spiritual world. At the same time, He is all-pervading. This paradox is only possible for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is full of all opulences. The Lord's all-pervasiveness is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 1861, where Krishna states, Ishvara sarva bhutanam hriddesherjuna tishthati. The Supreme Lord is seated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna. Elsewhere in Bhagavad Gita 15:15, the Lord says, Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto mattah smritirjnanam apohanam cha. I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. Therefore, although the Lord is present everywhere, He cannot be seen with ordinary eyes. As Aryama says, the Lord is anupalakshita sthana. No one can locate Him. This is the greatness of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we'll also read the word-to-word and translation and purport of 5.18.31. Yat, of whom, Rupam, the form, Etat, this, Nijamayaya arpitam, manifested by your personal potency, Arthasvarupam, this entire visible cosmic manifestation, Bahurupa Rupitam, manifested in various forms, Sankhya, the measurement, Na, not, Yasya, of which, Asti, there is, Ayatha, falsely, Upalambhanat, from perceiving, Tasmai, unto Him, the Supreme Lord, Namaha, my respectful obeisances, Te, unto you, Avyapadesha, cannot be ascertained by mental speculation, Rupine, whose real form. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation, my dear Lord, this visible cosmic manifestation is a demonstration of your own creative energy. Since the countless varieties of forms within this cosmic manifestation are simply a display of your external energy, this Virat Rupa, universal body, is not your real form. Except for a devotee in transcendental consciousness, no one can perceive your actual form. Therefore, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Please repeat. My dear Lord, this visible cosmic manifestation is a demonstration of your own creative energy. Since the countless varieties of forms within this cosmic manifestation are simply a display of your external energy, this Virat Rupa universal body is not your real form. Except for a devotee in transcendental consciousness, no one can perceive your actual form. Therefore, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Purport. Mayavadi philosophers think the universal form of the Lord to be real and His personal form illusory. We can understand their mistake by a simple example. A fire consists of three elements, heat and light, which are the energy of the fire, and the fire itself. Anyone can understand that the original fire is the reality and that the heat and light are simply the fire's energy. Heat and light are the formless energies of fire, and in that sense they are unreal. Only the fire has form, and therefore it is the real form of the heat and light. As Krishna states in Bhagavad Gita 9:4, Maya tatamidam sarvam jagadavyaktamurtina. By me in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. Thus, the impersonal conception of the Lord is like the expansion of heat and light from a fire. In Bhagavad Gita, the Lord also says, Matsthani sarvabhutani nachaham teshvavasthitah. The entire material creation is resting on Krishna's energy, either material, spiritual, or marginal, but because his form is absent from the expansion of his energy, he is not personally present. This inconceivable expansion of the Supreme Lord's energy is called Achintya Shakti. Therefore, no one can understand the real form of the Lord without becoming his devotee. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmelitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaham Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So in these two verses, the prayers of, who is that? Hiranmaya Varsha. The residents of Hiranmaya Varsha are beginning here. They worship the Lord as Kūrma Sharira or Kūrma Rupa or Akuparaya. Akupara. So, this verse is there. Prahlad Maharaj says, this verse? Haribol. This verse, Prahlad Maharaj 7938. Itham nirtiryagrishideva jhashavatarairlokan vibhavayasi hamsi jagat pratikan dharmam mahapurushapasi yuganuvrittam channa kalau yadabhavastri yugotha sattam. In this way, my Lord, you appear in various incarnations as a human being, an animal, a great saint, a demigod, a fish, or a tortoise, thus maintaining the entire creation in different planetary systems and killing the demoniac principles. According to the age, O my Lord, you protect the principles of religion. In the age of Kali, however, you do not assert yourself as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore you are known as Triyuga, or the Lord who appears in three yugas. So this is a reference to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at the last line. But Tiryak means, Itham Nirtiryak. Tiryak means below human species, animals. A human, like a human being, such as Krishna, Rama, Parshuram. Tiryak means animals, subhuman. So this includes, like Varaha avatar, Matsya avatar, Kūrma avatar, etc. That's what we know in Dasavatar. But there are other incarnations also. Of course, there's the Hayashirsha, Hayagriva, or Hayashirsha, who's the horse-headed incarnation, but not exactly a full horse. Hamsa avatar came as a swan. So in this way, he has, as Prabhupada says, incarnations in every species of life there are. Now, we don't have the full information of how he exists in different forms that correspond to the different species of life, but we should never consider him one of the species. This is the mistake we make, that, oh, he is coming among the fish. No. Or tortoise species. No, he is not coming among those species. The species are a reflection of the original form of the Lord. So the Lord's form is eternal. As today's verse says, beyond the influence of time. What is the exact word? 5:18:31, right? Is it 31? No, 30. Varshmane. Although you are the oldest, unto you who are although oldest are unaffected by time. So unaffected by time and space. So this is the reason why we cannot imagine how the Lord's existence is. We think that he exists within some space, within some time. That's how he appears to us. And this is true also for not only him, but also his qualities, his dharma, his name, everything is beyond time and space. And if we remember from the descriptions of the Ras Leela, he danced with the gopis for one night of Brahma, which is 4,320 million years. But it was all over within one day of the earth. So how time has warped like that is inconceivable for us to imagine. But for the Lord, he does not exist within these limits. We are so conditioned that we think, because we are pushed by time. Morning there is rush hour. People go to work rushing. What are they pushed by? They may say boss, and they may say the company, they may say workplace, but actually everybody is pushed by time. And pushed by time means kalosmi lokakshaya krit pravriddha. So kalam means destruction. Time is actually destruction. Because with time, as we see in our own examples, there is a nitya pralaya that is going on. Eternal devastation. Every moment, everybody, so many souls are undergoing the death. And this is one of the 4 pralayas that is mentioned in the Bhagavatam, according to the, you see here, Naimittakah prakritiko nitya atyantiko layah samstheti kavibhih proktash chaturdhasya svabhavatah. There are 4 types of cosmic annihilation or destruction: occasional, elemental, continuous, and ultimate. So this continuous nitya pralaya is the constant dying of so many souls. Every moment, so many are dying. Dying means, of course, the body, not the soul. But that is a destruction of a creation of the material elements. So, in not only death, but also um, anything that is constructed, for example, at one point it will be destroyed. And the destruction happens every moment. Why is there depreciation for property? Why is there depreciation of property? If you buy, you know what was depreciation? You know what's depreciation? Are you interested to know? Huh? What? Yeah. If you build a house, the wear and tear already starts from the point of building itself. Over time, over decades maybe, one day it will crumble. It will not stand. At least our modern constructions. There are previous constructions where it lasted much longer. If you see the old architecture of India, they lasted many, many more years than our modern buildings. Our modern buildings are like cement and like powder. You something a little bit earthquake and everything crushed to powder. But if you see the granite structures of Indian architecture, it's very hard to, the wear and tear happens much longer. But either way, it happens. So this is going on every moment, and everybody, we're all heading towards death. So kalam is loka kshaya krit. Kshaya means destruction. Time I am the destroyer of the worlds. Mrityu sarvaharas chaham. Mrityu, death is actually another feature of time. That's all. It's another feature of time. So we are pushed by time. Krishna is not pushed like that. And that is the meaning of Nava Yoganam cha. Ever youthful. Not only is Krishna ever youthful, but the holy name is also ever youthful. His qualities are ever youthful, ever fresh. These are all described in the different verses. His topics are ever fresh. They never get old. They're ever relevant. Bhagavad Gita was spoken 5,000 years ago, and yet today it's very relevant. It has not grown old at all. It is not irrelevant or stale. So that is the Lord's existence beyond time and space. And that's the reason why Arjuna said, you see, 1:15:27, Desha kalartha yuktani hrittapopashamani cha haranti smaratas govinda bhihitani me. Now I am attracted to those instructions imparted to me by the personality of Godhead Govinda, because they are impregnated with instructions for relieving the burning heart in all circumstances of time and space. In all circumstances of time and space. Sometimes we think that this philosophy of Krishna consciousness is to be discussed in leisurely time. When everybody is at ease, then we will sit down and discuss. But if you see the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, they were discussed under extremely stressful periods of time. The Bhagavad Gita was spoken just before the onset of a great war. On the battlefield, it was not a comfortable classroom with air conditioned and peaceful circumstances. No, it was a battlefield. And after that, a great war ensued. And Bhagavatam was spoken just on the verge of death of Parikshit Maharaj. He was happily ruling, and then he was given a 7 days notice. And then Bhagavatam was discussed. So they were discussed under extremely trying, turbulent circumstances. So it was not quiet. Of course, there were also conversations where, they sat at ease and discussed, like Maitreya and Vidura, and the sages at Naimisharanya, Suta Goswami. But that so-called free or leisurely time is just an illusion, because even this, now we are comfortably situated. But are we not heading towards death anyway? So, Mriyamana, what is that? Mriyamanam. What is that? 119.33, I think. Is this the one? Not this. No, not this. 119.15, is it? Gambling like anything. Not this. What is that verse? Yeah, so you see here, this Parikshit Maharaj says, Tammopayatam pratiyantu vipra ganga cha devi dhruta chittamishe dvijopasrishtaha kuhakastakshakova dashatvalam gayata vishnu gatha. You see how he is saying, O Brahmanas, just accept me as a completely surrendered soul and let Mother Ganga, the representative of the Lord, also accept me in that way. For I have already taken the lotus feet of the Lord into my heart. Let the snake bird or whatever magical thing the Brahmana created bite me at once. I only desire that you all continue singing the deeds of Lord Vishnu. So that's what he wanted to do at the fag end of his life. Hear about Krishna. So when there are stressful circumstances, the last thing, the Maya's way of working is that she makes it appear as though discussing Krishna Katha is the least important thing at that time. We should discuss about what immediately must be done there. Now, there may be a place for that, but the mainstay of our life, including at the very point of death, we should be unwavered in our eagerness to hear. When any disturbing circumstance comes, our eagerness to hear and chant become disturbed. So that is a test. That is an indication that we are totally ill-equipped to handle death. Because at death, it's completely disarranged. Everything becomes disarrayed. So at that time, we should be very, very stable in our Sthita prajnata means to be extremely stable at the time of death. So how far we have to go? We have to examine ourselves every day. Am I fixed in hearing and chanting and doing seva? If I'm not, then how can I be fixed at the time of death? So yo mayi pare dharma kalpite nishphalaya chet tadayaso nirartha syat bhayaderiva sattama. O Uddhava, greatest of saints, in a dangerous situation, an ordinary person cries, becomes fearful, and laments. Although such useless emotions do not change the situation. But activities offered to me without personal motivation, even if they are externally useless, amount to the actual process of religion. So because at the time of death, what will actually help us is dharma. Dharmo vittam niranam pretya. The wealth of those who are passing away from this world is the dharma they have done in this world. So what dharma? There are many different kinds of dharmas. But Sanatana dharma, not even our kula dharma, our office dharma, family dharma. No. Yes, there are duties there also. But Sanatana dharma means our eternal religion or eternal relationship with the Lord which is our eternal transaction of love for the Supreme Lord. That is the real meaning of Sanatana Dharma. Sanatana Dharma means the dharma which has never a beginning and nor an end. Our duty which has no beginning and end. That is the meaning of the word Sanatan. Sanatan does not mean it is limited by time and space to India. This is stupid. Now, so today, these days, the so-called, they call themselves Sanatanis, so-called Hindus. And they are fighting for in a very sectarian way. Oh, some other religions are kind of attacking us, so we must all stand united. You will not be united like this. Because first of all, Sanatan means it is all encompassing for all time and all space. Just as the Lord is Sanatan beyond the limits of time and space, we are also Sanatan, and our transaction between us and the Lord is also Sanatan. So that transaction of love between the Sanatan Lord and the Sanatan living entities in the Sanatan abode is Sanatan Dharma. That is a definition given in the introduction of Bhagavad Gita as Prabhupada quotes Ramanujacharya. So Ramanujacharya described very nicely what is Sanatana Dharma. But foolish people try to limit it to a certain land and certain race and certain time. This is foolishness. We should understand that all forms of religion that exist in the world are offshoots of this original mother of all religions, which is Sanatana Dharma. In fact, there is only one religion, Sanatana Dharma. Everything else, it may take on different names at different times. But if you see the underlying principle of any one of those religions, it is always the same. Submission to the Supreme Lord, chanting His name, and offering our activities to Him. That is the underlying principle in every bona fide religious system. Today, some other religions which are not Vedic, they profess one God. And in Sanatana Dharma, now called Hinduism, they say we are polytheistic. This is more blasphemous than saying, if somebody is professing one God, that is actually correct. But when we say there is only one God, they say we are Abrahamic. Oh, Abrahamic religion, just like Islam, Abrahamic religion, Abrahamic religions, the three religions, Judaism, Islam, and Christianity. Abraham, all in their language, these names are there. That's why called Abrahamic religions. Actually, the word Abraham or Ibrahim is coming from Brahma. Brahma is so they have their own understanding. But so these Abrahamic religions, they profess one God. So when we say there is one God, some Hindus criticize the Krishna conscious devotees as Abrahamic. Oh, you are adopting Christian philosophy of one God, or Muslim, or whatever. No, see, the underlying thing, the truth is the same, that there is one Lord. In the other denominations, in the other faiths, actually I don't like the word faith because it's not just faith, it's a reality. So in other denominations of religion, the information about the demigods is not mentioned for ease, for simplicity, for the sake of simplicity. Because once the demigods are mentioned, it is actually more detail, but then people confuse it to mean that there are now many lords. When it is described that there is one Lord and he manages everything, it's a very simplistic understanding, and that is actually the reality. When we mention demigods, the same understanding is there, that the Lord maintains everything. Eko bahunam yuvidadhati kaman stands the same. But then there are demigods. Why are they there? Oh, the Lord has no necessity, but He is employing them in His service as responsible heads of departments of universal management for their betterment, for their purification. No, He needs no service, but He bestows that service for our benefit And for that reason, they are there. And for those who are rebellious towards the Lord, instead of just a black and white, either you accept the Lord or you go to hell. There are other middle ground is provided in the Sanatana dharma, where people who are not readily surrendering to the Lord, they are given a chance to surrender to his different parts and parcels in the form of the demigods, and they are promised material benedictions. And in that way, at least for the sake of material benedictions, they may worship an authority or demigod who is sanctioned by Krishna, and such worship is sanctioned in the Vedic literature given by Krishna. In that way, they are at least obedient to the Lord. That obedience of following the Vedic injunctions, even if you are interested in material life, is the first step of advancement. So, which is why this gray area, instead of just black and white, is given for a gradual evolution or gradual advancement of the conditioned souls. But then, it's a double-edged sword. So there is the use, but there's also, it can be abused. The system can be abused and misunderstood, misconstrued. And eventually understanding wanes and confusion begins. And in that way, ayathavat. That's why today's verse also there is ayathavat. Okay, we will go back to today's verse. See this verse here, Naivatmana prabhurayam nijalabha purno manam janada vidusha karuno vrinite yadyajjano bhagavate vidadhita manam tachatmane pratimukhasya yathamukhashri. See, the demigods, the Supreme Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is always fully satisfied in himself. Therefore, when something is offered to him, the offering by the Lord's mercy is for the benefit of the devotee. For the Lord does not need service from anyone. To give an example, if one's face is decorated, the reflection of one's face in a mirror is also seen to be decorated. So if we decorate Krishna, then we ourselves will be decorated. But Krishna is not beautified by the ornaments are beautified by Krishna. He is the real jewel there. People wear jewels to beautify themselves, but the jewel becomes beautified when it's worn by Krishna. So Krishna is independent of our service, but the service beautifies us. So in this way, he employs some conditioned souls who are more qualified than ordinary souls to become demigods and serve the Lord in that capacity. At the same time, he will help the lower souls, in lower states of consciousness, to gradually elevate. So this is the whole program of the Vedic literature and the whole arrangement by Krishna. So when people cannot understand all this complexity, sometimes he sends messengers to give very simplified, there is one God, chant his name, and follow these commandments and get purified. So that is also done. So it is all in the same vein it is done. It's all for the same purpose. So the other day one person shared with me a video in Telugu where this person is saying that, now you see this ISKCON people, they are saying that Jesus is a son of Krishna. Krishna came 5,000 years ago, Jesus came 2,000 years ago, and suddenly he is son of Krishna. Krishna already left by then. So this kind of wrong philosophy they are putting inside. But this idiot has not read the Bhagavad Gita where he says, Sarva yonishu kaunte aham bija pradapita. Rascal, what are you reading Bhagavad Gita? Krishna is saying not only of Jesus, of every single living entity that exists, I am the Father. This is the rascal so-called Hindus who simply, in the name of Hindus, they don't even read, they don't even understand anything. And Krishna is only existing in that time, limited by the time. That is another blasphemy. They only blaspheme. They blaspheme even more than the other so-called, they claim that the other religion people, they are blaspheming our religion. But no, these people blaspheme the religion more than anyone else. I mentioned this a few times, that, the Kerala story happened, that movie, right? where women are being forcibly converted into Islam and then they're sent to the Syria and all this as sex slaves. So that story came out. So immediately after that, one organization which was already existing since 1997, apparently 1999, they came to the fore. They became more prominent. I mean, they became known after that Kerala story movie, and they were interviewed in a bunch of podcasts in India. And the lady was explaining that we have converted, we have actually reconverted them back into our Hinduism. So we have done this counseling. So these podcast hosts were interviewing. Oh, such a great job you have done. You have saved people from being converted and being exploited. So she mentioned that we have this YouTube channel also. We have a sanstha where we preach Sanatana dharma. I said, okay, good. I went and saw the YouTube channel, first video. What she was saying, in our Sanatana dharma, if we have to know, we have to only read the Vedas and the Upanishads. Don't touch the Puranas. They are ridiculous. I'm just repeating verbatim. They are ridiculous, Puranas. Don't touch them. I don't think the Muslims or Christians blaspheme the Sanatana dharma as openly as these guys do. And they don't get even attacked. They don't know what is blasphemy. They don't know what is. They know nothing. They know nothing. So that's not the way. This is to be understood. Savai pumsam paro dharmo yato bhaktir adhokshaje. This is Prabhupada always quoted this verse. See how many lectures he did on this verse. You see, I'm going to next. So many. You see, savai pumsam paro dharmo yato bhaktir adhokshaje ahaitu kya pratyahata yayatma suprasidati. The supreme occupation or dharma for all humanity is that by which men can attain to loving devotional service unto the transcendent Lord. Such devotional service must be unmotivated and uninterrupted to completely satisfy the self. So apratihata, it is not limited by any time, space, circumstance, nothing. That is Sanatana dharma. And it should be unmotivated. When there is a motive, when there is a material motive, then there is a cause. It is Tattvavit dāsa, cheating religion. And that is not Sanatana. Some material desire is not Sanatana. So it must be unmotivated and uninterrupted. So we should examine what is religion by the symptoms, not by the nomenclature. We have to observe symptomatically and not just by names. Giving names and not following anything is useless. But if there is some following, even if the names are different, we should recognize that this is indeed one of the tenets and principles of Sanatana dharma. So ironically, that photo is not straight. I think you moved it. Ironically, in today's so-called Hinduism, I find less of a similarity with our actual description of Sanatana dharma compared with other religions. They have given up many of the customs, they have given up. Many of the knowledge, philosophy, they have given up. But the others, I find many similarities with them. One God, and women must be protected. Of course, there's a whole racket going on. That is another absolute rubbish. See, that's not, again, the proper religion and those who say they profess the religion, two different things. There are many who say they profess, but they don't. I know of some Muslims who are very, very strict when it comes to dealing with women, and where they're very, very honorable. But not all. And same is the case with so-called Hindus. I mean, everywhere. So, if we go to the absolute fundamentals of every religion, none of them will differ. None of them. So this is this. It's ironical, but also we should know actually what is religion, what is the Supreme Lord from Shastra like this. So it's Achintya Shakti. He is existing everywhere, although he is invisible. In some religions, yes, that's why they say he is invisible. He does not have any rupa. Or even our Sanatana dharma it has infiltrated the Mayavadi philosophy. In fact, if you study most religions in the world, they are of the impersonal conception. 99.9%. That's why Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine. Prabhupada came to deliver the people of this impersonalism and voidism that has taken over. What is that? Nijarupa Rupitam. In the next verse today. So actually, very nice verse also. This one, Om Namo Bhagavate Akuparaya Sarvasattva Guna Visheshanaya Anukalpita Sthanaya. So Sarvasattva Guna Visheshanaya. Vishwambar Prabhu the other day gave so many references from the Shastra that the Lord is always in Sattvagun, Vishuddha Sattvagun. Sattvam Vishuddham Vasudeva Shabditam. So in this way there are so many verses are there which I brought. We don't have time, but you can refer to that lecture. So many references where the Lord is always above Sattvagun, whereas animals are always in Tamogun. So he is not. So he is, whichever form he comes, he is beyond. In fact, whatever tortoise or fish or anything that exists in this world exists after him. Just like, what is that? Man is made in the image of God. Fish is also made in the image of God only. Tortoise is also made in the image of God. Boar is also made in the image of God. Even the things that look ugly, pig is not beautiful. Let's be honest. But when he is Sarva Sattaguna Sthanaya or Visheshanaya, he is actually very beautiful even in the pig form. And that's what yesterday's, what you read, the previous verse, 5:18-29. Prabhupada mentions that in the purport. Priyatamam Tanum, you see, Priyatamam, the dearmost body. You see here, Prabhupada explains this most dear and beautiful form of tortoise. Tortoise is very beautiful. Not exactly. It's not the most beautiful body, right? An ordinary tortoise. The Lord is not. You see, the word Priyatama, dearmost, is very significant in this verse. Each devotee regards a particular form of the Lord as most dear. Because of an atheistic mentality, some people think that the tortoise, boar, and fish incarnations of the Lord are not very beautiful. What do they think? Atheists, tortoise, boar, and fish are not very beautiful. They do not know that any form of the Lord is always the fully opulent personality of Godhead. Since one of his 6 opulences is infinite beauty. What are the 6 opulences? Aishwaryasya samagrasya viryasya yashasya shriya jnana vairagyayoschaiva shannam bhaga itingana. So, Shriya is beauty. So that beauty is there in every one of his incarnations. Not just when he comes as Krishna is very beautiful, when it comes as tortoise he is ugly. Or when it comes as boar he is ugly. No, he is very beautiful. Extremely beautiful. We cannot imagine how a pig can be ugly. In fact, anybody who is ugly, we call them pig. People call them. Yeah, he looks like a pig or something. So, pig is like one of the definitions of ugliness. But the Lord is very beautiful, even as a boar. Otherwise, it's not that the devotees worship one ugly looking Lord. No. So, that is the meaning of beyond the 3 modes. Grades of beauty all are according to the 3 modes, but beyond the 3 modes, everyone is beautiful. Everyone is beautiful there in the Vaikuntha Loka. There is no such thing as ugliness there. Since one of his opulence is infinite beauty, all the Lord's incarnations are very beautiful and appreciated as such by devotees. Non-devotees, however, think that Lord Krishna's incarnations are ordinary material creatures, and therefore they distinguish between the beautiful and the not beautiful. So those who even say accept Krishna in a way, like Hindus, half accept Krishna. So they also feel that Krishna is beautiful, but Kūrma, let's not talk about it. We cannot say that it's not beautiful, so let's not talk about it. No, it's beautiful. Let's talk about it. That is actually beautiful. I may not be able to comprehend his beauty, but it's always beautiful. A certain form of the Lord is worshipped by a particular devotee because he loves to see that form of the Lord. As stated in Brahma Samhita, Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Ananta Rupam Adyam Purana Purusham Navayovanam Cha. Each of his forms is Navayovanam. Not only Krishna is Navayovanam, every one of his forms. You may ask, how come Advaita Acharyas are Navayovanam? He's old man, white beard. Still is Navayovanam. He may come as appear like that, but still he is Navayovanam, even in that form. Otherwise, how could he dance for 3 days continuously? How? Old people cannot dance. So in that way, he is mentioned, Namo Varshmane, Namo Bhumne. He moves about. What is that? Jayarādha Madhava Kunjabihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. So Kunjabihari means he also moves about the banks of the Yamuna. And tortoise also, sometimes we tend to think that the tortoise is just there, like that, like a lifeless, dead. No, he's moving there. He's moving and he's getting his back scratched. Sometimes we feel like scratching our back. He also has that. Why we have that? Because he has that. Not that he also has that. No. We also have that. Because he has it. He originally, Adi Purusham is him. After that we are Purusham. Actually we are Prakriti. Thinking we are Purusha. We are identifying as Purusha. Just like some men identify as women, some women identify as men. We are identifying as Purusha or enjoyer of this world, but actually we are the enjoyed. So this transgenderism started way back when we came into this material world. That's when the transgenderism really started. Because we are actually female, but we are thinking male. So every relationship in this world is actually a lesbian relationship. It's true. Only when Krishna is in the center, it makes any sense. Otherwise, it's just a lesbian relationship here. Because we are Prakriti, the other person is Prakriti. Prakriti, female, what is it? Lesbian only, no? So that's what it is. So the reality is that our only relationship, Pati means the husband or the Lord, is actually Krishna. That's why Govindam Adi Purusham. We are fake Purusha. When a woman tries to look like a man, you can tell from one look she's a woman. So, doesn't look like a man. But some people are very good at, morphing their bodily structure by hundreds of operations and trying to make it look like a man. But still they don't have the potency. Just like a man cannot produce a child. Even though he may externally change his appearance, he cannot produce a child. A woman, however much she may try, she cannot impregnate. The functionality is not there. Just appearance changing, voice changing because of some hormone injections, which will anyway come back to haunt them later on in life. So, and not very long later, immediate future, it will happen. So anyway, we are trying to do that. We have no potency of the Lord. Just like the woman who thinks she is a man cannot impregnate. We, trying to be the Lord, have no potency like the Lord. We can do nothing, but we are making a show that we are something. Whatever we have is given by the Lord. So, Sarva Sattva Guna Visheshanaya. He is above the modes. We are below. Anupalakshita Sthanaya. He cannot be seen. He can be like, Brahma. Classic example is Brahma. Brahma, when he was born on the lotus flower. And then he was trying to find out where is the origin of himself. Where did I come out from? So there was no mother. That's why he is called also Swayambhu. Swayambhu, Narada, Shambhu, 12 Mahajans. Self-born. Again, this is the potency of the Lord. The Lord does not need, again, a female to impregnate or give birth. He can do it by himself. Not only him, even Brahma did it. He invested even Brahma with that potency. Like Narad Muni is a Manasika Putra of Brahma. He was born from the mind of Brahma without any copulation. So, the Lord can invest such potency in anyone if he wants. So, when Brahma was born, he was looking and he could not find anything. Everything was dark. If there is light, the Lord is very bright, right? He is very bright, effulgent. How come he was not seen? He was a gigantic form from the navel of whom this lotus flower came. Gigantic lotus flower as well. And on top of that, Brahma was sitting. And he was trying to look and he could not find. And then he went down the stem of the lotus to find out where is the end, where is the root of this. He was going for 100 years of his time, of I think demigod's time or something. He could not find. He was getting, imagine if you go down a tunnel. The other day, I watched this YouTube short. One guy, it was a, how to say, hole, like a tunnel, not tunnel exactly, it's like a free fall. It was all dark. It's inside a, what? It's not a sinkhole. It's a natural formation where there's a deep hole. So what he did, he took a big stone like this, heavy, and he threw. Waiting. 18 seconds later, the sound came. It was about at least 1 kilometer deep. 1 kilometer, if you calculate the sound speed and sound coming back. About at least roughly 1 kilometer deep, 1.1 kilometers. 15 seconds, I think, 15 point something seconds later the sound came. Imagine you just throwing and then silence, absolute silence for 15 seconds. How deep? If he just falls over. So that is just 1 kilometer. This thing, this lotus stem, 100 years of the demigods going down. Their 1 day is our 1 year. Their 1 year is our 365 years. 100 years, 36,500 years of our time, he went down. He could not find. He got afraid himself. Came up again back, another 100 years. So he don't know what to do. Then he heard the word tapa twice. Even if you hear tapa, what do you will understand? You tell a baby tapa, what do you will understand? He will say something. But Brahma was given the intelligence by the Lord that this means renunciation. This is the verse 298 of Srimad Bhagavatam. Tapa here. And then he did tapasya for 100 years again. And then he saw the Lord in full form, in effulgence form, lying down in the entire breadth of the universe on the Garbhodaka ocean, and from him, the lotus flower, he appeared. So he could see everything. So how come he was not seen before? When the Lord is right there, he was not hiding. Anupalakshita sthanaya. He's invisible. He's everywhere, yet invisible. Kunti Devi said that, right? Kunti uvacha Namasye purusham tvadyam ishwaram prakriteः param alakshyam sarvabhutanam antarbahiravastitam anupalakshita sthana. Laksha, you see, alaksham, you see the word alaksham, anupalakshitam, same thing. Alakshyam means the invisible. Anupalakshita sthanaya. He is situated but he cannot be seen. Antar bahirava. He is existing inside and outside of everything. There is this Christian, what is it called? Parable. Christian parable. A story which has a moral instruction. So it is said, sometimes they say this story that two twins were having a conversation within the womb of the mother. So one twin says, "Oh, I feel protected by the mother," and then the other twin says, "Where is the mother? I don't see the mother." Where? No, mother is all around you. You are in the mother, and mother is all around you. You are being nourished by the mother only. No, I don't believe. I can't see. I don't believe. So, but actually there is a situation. We are in this garbha of the universe, and we are in the garbha of this body as well. But this is all the energy of the Lord. Everything that we perceive with our senses, including our senses themselves, everything is actually His energy. So we are nourished by Him, we are maintained by Him, just like the womb, the child in the womb is maintained. And all around it, whatever it is seeing, it is mother only. But He still says there is no mother. So like that, antar bahirava, but alakshyam, anupalakshita sthanaya. So Srimati Kunti said, "O Krishna, I offer my obeisances unto you because you are the original personality and are unaffected by the qualities of the material world." Again, unaffected by the qualities. You are existing both within and without everything, and yet you are invisible to all. Next verse also she says, Maya javanika channam agnadhoksha jamavyayam nalakshase mudhadrisha nato natyadharo yatha. Javanika means Maya javanika achannam. Javanika means curtain. Maya javanika achannam means covered. Achannam. Maya javanika achannam. He is covered by the curtain of Maya. Deluding curtain. Being beyond the range of limited sense perception, you are the eternally irreproachable factor covered by the curtain of deluding energy. You are invisible to the foolish observer. Agnya dhokshajam avyayam. Mudhadrisha. Mudhadrisha means the foolish observer. Mudha means fool. So who is foolish observer? Who is not a devotee? Because for the devotee, Shyamam Tribhanga Lalitam Niyata Prakasham. What is that? Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena Santah Sadaiva Hridayeshu Vilokayanti Yam Shyama Sundaram Achintya Gunaswarupam Govindam Adipurusham. So he is Santah Sadaiva Hridayeshu Vilokayanti. Vilokayanti means they see in the heart of hearts. How can we? You may even think that, oh, how can you see it within the heart of hearts? What is mean? How can you cannot even see your heart within the heart of heart? What you can see? No, the eye of the soul. We are always, again, this is our problem. When we see means with these eyes we think. No, the soul has eyes. The dead body also has eyes, but it cannot see. So it's not the eyes that see, it's the soul that sees through the eyes, like the window. For some people, they're blind that the window is shut. But when Bilumangal Thakur blinded himself, he could still see the Lord. He could still see the Lord. When Krishna was supplying him milk and all these things, though he was trying to catch hold of Krishna, and Krishna ran away as a small boy, Krishna ran away from him. Bilumangal Thakur laughed. He said, "You can run away all you want, but I will appreciate your strength if you can run away from the core of my heart. I don't think you can." So he challenged Krishna like that. So the devotees Sadaiva Hridayeshu Vilokayanti Yam Shyama Sundaram Achintya Gunaswarupam. He is Achintya. We cannot conceive him with our senses. And yet they see. How? By the spiritual eye of the soul, imbued with the salve of love, ointment of love. So, you are invisible to the foolish observer who does not have this devotion to the Lord. Exactly as an actor dressed as a player is not recognized. And if we contemplate on that, actor dressed as a player, if an actor is very good at what he does, and if he puts on a costume, you cannot recognize him. There are many examples like that. An actor who is really good at doing costume, and we cannot recognize that he is the same. You cannot, even if you know, you cannot recognize. What? Is he really that person? From which angle? It doesn't look like that at all. So that good he is. So here everything is actually, what is that? Idam hi vishwam bhagavan evetara sarvam khalvidam brahma. Everything is Brahman actually. Everything is the Supreme Lord. But we cannot recognize. A devotee it doesn't take much for him to recognize the Lord. When he sees a flower, that is the Lord. That is the artistry of the Lord. So a simple flower can remind him of God. A simple seed, anything can remind him of God. Anything, because everything is Krishna's energy. But the non-devotee, nothing can remind him of the Lord. The entire grand arrangement of the cosmos cannot remind him of the Lord. If a spaceship is going and returning, oh, Elon Musk is a genius. Earth is every day returning to the, like sun is every day returning to the same spot and, rising and setting and rising and setting. Why no credit is given? No credit. Krishna is not genius. So, foolishness. This is foolish observer. It is right in front of you, but still I cannot recognize. The truth is everywhere, all around us. Still we cannot recognize. If we deny the Lord, there is no other explanation for everything that exists. There is no other explanation. Why everything exists, how everything exists. Big Bang. How did the Big Bang start? They don't know. Why something just burst? Is there any purpose, or just is a purposeless creation? If there is a purposeless creation, why do we think of always having some purpose in life? If everything is purposeless, just something exploded, something came, something happened, gases forming, just came together, life formed, and evolved in the water, then in the land, flying. No purpose, nothing, simply. What is this kind of explanation? How idiotic you must be to give that kind of explanation. And then we always talk about, I want a purpose in life. Why you want a purpose? You are started with no purpose. Be purposeless, na? Be a vagabond. Why you want to study? Why do you want to become something? Why you want to build a business? Why you want to have a job? Why you have a purpose in life? Don't have it. Just be a vagabond, do whatever you like, like a pig you live. Why not? So, even animals have, whatever little they understand, within that they have some purpose. Like a lion or some, elephant, they guard their own territories. Oh, we should protect some, they have a purpose of maintaining their family, expanding their territory. They have some purpose, whatever they understand, they also have some purpose. Living forms have purpose. And the entire universe has no purpose, simply. It doesn't make any logical sense, any basic logic. So, driven by this atheistic mentality, people are choosing to lead a purposeless life, trying to get happiness from simply some baseless, pointless gratification of senses. They're never going to get it. However much they try, individually, collectively, nationally, internationally, they may have conventions, nothing will happen. So anyway, just towards the end, the other verse. Yadrupamedam nijamaya yarpitam arthaswarupam bahuruparupitam. Actually, this is also very nice. It kinds of, if you read the Sanskrit, It kind of tallies with that other verse of Bhagavad Gita where Arjuna saw Aneka, what is that? 11:13, right? Tatraikastham jagat kritsnam prabhaktam anekadha apashyad devadevasya sharire pandavastada. At that time, Arjuna could see in the universal form of the Lord the unlimited expansions of the universe, situated in one place, although divided into many, many thousands. All kinds of expansions of the universe. The universe expanded, was visible in many, many expansions. So today's verse also, you see, what is it? 5:18:31. So you see, Yadrupamedan nijamaya arthaswarupam bahuruparupitam. So the material world has many, many forms. It consists of many, many forms, and it has many, many forms, which has a whole implication in cosmology as well. I've mentioned this many times, the Puranic and the Siddhantic cosmology. Surya Siddhanta, which is the astrological treatise that we follow, to ascertain the position of planets, versus the Puranic understanding of the cosmology, the situation of the planets, does not coincide. They do not coincide. And the explanation is that Bahurupa Rupitam, Arthaswarupam Bahurupa Rupitam, Yadrupametan Nijamaya Arpitam, Sankhyanā yasyāsthi. We cannot even count how many rupa, analytically, we cannot even know the extent to which this material universe is expanded. Ayathopalambanat. Ayathopalambanat means falsely. Yatha. Yatha means as. Like Yatharupa. Bhagavad Gita Yatharup means Bhagavad Gita as it is. But Ayatha means false. It's not as it is. Ayatha, falsely. Upalambanat, from perceiving. So, we falsely perceive this material world, which has many, many forms. See, visible cosmic manifestation is a demonstration of your own creative energy, illusory creative energy. Maya means creative, Maya means illusion, Maya has so many meanings. Maya means affection. Out of affection for us, he created, and we are disillusioned by the Maya, and it is his creativity. All definitions of Maya fit into this Nijamaya Arpitam. So actually, if you see the Sanskrit of this verse, again, that's why Krishna Tulya Bhagavat Vibhu Sarvashray Prati Akshare Prati Shloke Pratyakshare Nana Artha Koi. What is that? Bhagavatam is like that. It's very beautiful to discuss because Krishna Tulya Bhagavat Vibhu Sarvashray Prati Shloke Pratyakshare Nana Artha Koi. Srimad Bhagavatam is as great as Krishna, the Supreme Lord and shelter of everything. In each and every verse of Srimad Bhagavatam and in each and every syllable, there are various meanings. Like the Atmarama verse was explained in 61 different forms, 64 different ways by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Right? One verse, so many ways was described. So in this way, if we see in Nijamaya Arpitam means it is his creative expression, this whole material world. So many artistry, so much engineering, everything happened, we can see. But also it is his illusion which keeps us in illusion, Nijamaya Arpitam. And it is also his affection, because this whole material world is actually created for our rectification. That's the only purpose, really. Jivad, what is that? Sargadeh Hetur. Hetur Jivasya Sargadeh. 12:7:18. Hetur Jivosya Sargadeh means what? Out of ignorance, the living being performs material activities and thereby becomes, in one sense, the cause of creation. maintenance and destruction of the universe. Hetur jivosa sargadehe. Sarga ade means, sarga means creation, adi means maintenance and destruction. So the jiva is the cause for the creation. That does not mean the jiva created. For the jiva, out of affection, out of affection for us, for our rectification, the creation was made. For us. The Lord has no business creating this. But for us, in that way, hetur jivosya sargade. And here also, yanmayaya. नैतद्बताधीश पदं तवेप्सितं यन्माययानस्तनुषे भूतसूक्ष्मम् अनुग्रहायास्त्वपि अर्हि मायया लसत्तुलस्या भगवान् विलक्षितः. My dear Lord, although it is not your desire, you manifest this creation of gross and subtle elements just for our sensual satisfaction. Let your causeless mercy be upon us, for you have appeared before us in your eternal form, adorned with a splendid wreath of tulsi flowers. So, is that wreath or wreath? Wreath or wreath? This word? Wreath? So, you see, he created this for us. Not only for sensual satisfaction, but also for our rectification eventually. So if we understand like that, 5:18:31. Arthaswarupam Bahuruparupam. So Arthaswarupam here is translated as this entire visible cosmic manifestation. Artha, anartha. Anartha means purpose, or artha also means wealth. Swarupam. So anartha means no purpose, unnecessary, something that is a distraction. Anartha means unnecessary things. So unnecessary means something which is not needed to achieve the goal, the purpose of life. That's why anartha nivritti. If we prema pumartho mahan, the goal of human life is to achieve love of Godhead. That alone is artha. Everything else is anartha, unnecessary. So we have to progressively, as we go on Krishna consciousness, we have to give up our anarthas. Everything that is unnecessary, everything that is not pursuant to the goal of achieving love of God, that is anartha. So arthaswarupam, in other words, is also because first of all, it is a nice counter to the argument that this world just created without any purpose. No, arthaswarup. It has full purpose. This cosmic material visible manifestation is full of purpose. And the purpose, if we understand, then we will know our own purpose in this world. If you're going to, everybody, they think, I need to find my purpose, my calling. But there is only one call. Krishna is saying, come back to me and surrender. No calling. Krishna is calling everyone. We are not listening. Oh, you had a calling. No. Everybody has one. Whenever people say something, you had a calling. No. Krishna is calling everyone. Everyone is calling. We are not listening. We don't want to listen. Sometimes when the mother calls, the child is playing outside in the getting dark. Come home. But the child just keeps on playing. Like that. We are not listening only. So Krishna is calling everyone. We have to accept the call. So if we try to think that our purpose, I need to find my purpose. My purpose is, I think, to start a startup company and provide productivity solutions for people. This is my purpose in this world. Who made that purpose? You yourself made. You concocted. Manoratha nasate. We have to first understand, forget about us. Forget about you. Why was this world made even? Why was I put into this world? Before the fan was invented, the purpose of the fan was already there. Before the fan was invented, right? Before the air conditioner was invented, the purpose was already there. The purpose was he wanted to cool the room. How to cool? That was the purpose with which he ventured and finally invented the air conditioner. So the creation happened way after the purpose. So his goal was something, then to achieve that goal, this is an instrument to achieve that goal. So we were put into this world. Okay. So that means the purpose for which we were put here is already existing before we came here. So don't now, oh, I am now 25 years old, I need to find my purpose. 25 years after you have born, you still don't know what is the purpose of your. That is, you do not know. Purpose was already there before you were born. Yeah. So that we have to recognize. Why was this creation made and why am I put into this creation? Why am I forced to die? Why am I forced to undergo old age? Nobody likes. Huh? There is some 80s, there is a song, pop song, Forever Young. Forever Young. And people actually look upon that song as a very poignant, very saddening song because as they grow older and older, nobody wants it. But you can be forever young. Navayavanam, go back to Krishna. That's what the invitation is. It's an invitation. So Krishna is inviting for us to be forever young. And he is ever young. We are actually ever young. The soul is ever young. So we have to question these things. We have to question our existential position. If we choose to become oblivious, life question, all this, for old people, you are old people, middle-aged people, nothing else to do. You will think of this. We are young people, we will, party. This is the time to party. Remember that there is a time to part. We will part with this world. We will part with this body. Before that, real party is this one. Krishna is inviting us. Because young people like to party. And that's what Krishna did. Ras Leela is a party. Young boy, young girls. Party, dance. So there is a party. You join that party. Why are you going to go club and this party and that party? So Krishna is inviting. So join the real party, forever young. So, Sankhyana yasya, measurement of which there is not. See the way it is translated. We cannot measure this material world even. Artha swarupam, bahurupa rupitam, sankhyana yasya, ayatha ulambhanat, falsely perceiving. We falsely perceive, and this is very nicely encapsulated in this, not exactly verse, but prose, 5:16:4. ऋषिरुवाच न वै महाराज भगवतो माया गुण विभूते काष्ठां मनसा वचसा वाधिगंतुम अलम विबुधायुषापि. Vibudhayushapi means even in the lifetime of Brahma. Purushastasmat, see, manasa vachasa maya guna vibhute kashtham manasa vachasa va adhigantum alam vibudhayushapi purushastasmat pradhanyenaiva bhugolaka vishesham namarupamana lakshanato vyakhayasyamaha. So what is he saying? The great Rishi Sukadeva Goswami said, my dear king, there is no limit to the expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead's material energy. He's not saying there's no limit to the expansion of Supreme Personality of Godhead, but of his material energy. This material world is a transformation of the material qualities Sattvagun, Rajagun, Tamogun, yet no one could possibly explain it perfectly, even in a lifetime as long as that of Brahma. So, Bahurupa Rupitam, Arthaswarupam, Sankhyana yasya. No one in the material world is perfect, and an imperfect person could not describe this material universe accurately, even after continued speculation. O king, I shall nevertheless, you see, no person could describe this material universe accurately, because Bahurupa Rupitam, Anekadha, Jagat Krishnam, Tatraikastham, Jagat Krishnam, what is that? Pashyat Anekadha. Tatra pashat anekadha. So, um, that's why there is this difference of explanation of the situation of the planets in the Puranas and the Siddhanta, Surya Siddhanta. It does not exactly match, but that is one of the features of Anekadha or Bahuruparopitam. So we should not be too, oh, that doesn't make logical sense. So, I think one of them is wrong, or either of them is wrong, or no. Don't immediately come to conclusion, judging everything by the tiny yardstick of our intelligence. But we have to expand our intellectual understanding by harmonizing the contradictions mentioned in the Shastras. When there is a contradiction, we tend to limit to one view. Oh, no, contradictory, that doesn't make sense. So I will accept one because this makes more sense to me according to how I perceive. No, the way we should accept Shastra, the reason why there is Shastra is because to expand our understanding, to understand the Lord. So our senses are defective. Don't judge the statements of the Shastras by the yardstick of our senses and intellect, but expand our senses and intellect by the descriptions of the Shastra. So if something that I am unable to understand, but if the Shastras say two different things that are mutually contradictory in our perception, we have to expand in a way our understanding to harmonize both of them. So these words give an indication like Bahuruparopitam, Anekadha. And here Sukadeva Goswami is saying a person of his intellect. Who is Sukadeva Goswami? Guru Muninam. He is the guru or spiritual master of all the sages of the universe. He was the master of all sages of the universe, topmost sage. What kind of intellect he has? He could just rattle the whole Bhagavatam, 18,000 verses, verbatim like that. Speak it out of full memory. Whose son, philosophy is speaking, dynasties he is speaking, everything is speaking. How does he know? That kind of intellect person, he is saying nobody can describe this accurately. No one can know. So in this way, we have to understand, there is a much bigger display that we are only seeing one slice of it. So even though I cannot perceive the other slices of the full sandwich, I should know that there is other explanation. There are other explanations for how the universe exists. So anyway, so we can go on and on actually, but for the sake of time, we'll stop it here. Any questions and comments on this verse or topic? Nine 24:58. I forgot this. Yeah, Yanmaya cheshtitam pumsaha sthityutpatyapyayahi anugrahastan nivritter atmalabhaya cheshyate. The Supreme Personality of Godhead acts through His material energy in the creation, maintenance, and annihilation of this cosmic manifestation, just to deliver the living entity by His compassion and stop the living entity's birth, death, and duration of materialistic life. Thus, He enables the living being to return home back to Godhead. Yeah, very nice verse. Materialistic men sometimes ask why God has created the material world for the suffering of the living entities. The material creation is certainly meant for the suffering of the conditioned souls who are part of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as confirmed by the Lord Himself. 15.7 Mamaivamso Jivaloke Jivabhuta Sanatana Manashashthani Indriyani Prakritisthani Karshati. Bhagavad Gita. The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to their conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind. All the living entities are part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and are as good as the Lord qualitatively, but quantitatively the great difference for the Lord, whereas the living entities are limited. Thus, the Lord possesses unlimited potency for pleasure, and the living have a limited pleasure potency. Both the Lord and the living entity are qualitatively spirit soul, have the tendency for peaceful enjoyment, but when the part of the Supreme Personality of Godhead unfortunately wants to enjoy independently without Krishna, He is put into the material world where he begins his life as Brahma and is gradually degraded to the status of an ant or a worm in stool. This is called mana shashthani indriyani prakritisthani karshati. There is a great struggle for existence because the living entity conditioned by material nature is under nature's full control. Prakriti krimanani gunai karmani sarvashaha. 327 Bhagavad Gita. Because of his limited knowledge, however, the living entity thinks he is enjoying in this material world. Mana shashthani indriyani prakritisthani karshati. He's actually under the full control of material nature, but still he thinks himself independent. Ahankar vimodhatma kartaham adimanyate. So this is this you can actually read this in its long purport. Here. The real dharma, whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice or descendant of Bharata and a predominant rise of a religion, at that time I descend myself. The real dharma is to surrender unto Krishna, but the rebellious living entity, instead of surrendering to Krishna, engages in adharma and a struggle for existence to become like Krishna. Therefore, out of compassion, Krishna creates this material world to give the living entity a chance to understand his real position. Bhagavad Gita and similar Vedic literatures are presented so that the living being may understand his relationship with Krishna. So, this is called Brahma Jignasa. Human life provides the best chance for him to understand his position. Anugrahastanya vritte. So atheistic think it is, meaningless, whimsical creation. This is 16.8 Bhagavad Gita. Asatyam apratishtamte jagadavaranishwaram aparaspara sambhutam kimanyat kamahetukam. They say that this world is unreal, that there is no foundation and that there is no God in control. It is produced of sex desire and has no cause other than lust. So this is modern viewpoint actually. Everybody thinks like this, right? So, you can go and read this. Any other questions or comments? 836. Come on. Nayasya deva rishayah padam vidur jantuh punah korhati gantumiritum yatha natasya kritibhir vicheshtato duratyayanu samavatu. An artist on stage being covered by attractive dresses and dancing with different movements is not understood by his audience. Similarly, the activities and features of the supreme artist cannot be understood even by the demigods or great sages, and certainly not by those who are unintelligent like animals. Neither the demigods and sages nor the unintelligent can understand the features of the Lord, nor can they express in words his actual position. May that Supreme Personality of Godhead give me protection. Very nice. The stress on impersonalism in many religious forms is because of this. To guard them from misconceiving the form of the Lord to be material. Because when you say form, they will identify with something, a form of this material world. Oh, he has a human-like form. Oh, like actually Bible says man is made in the image of God. But more knowledge is not given because people may think him to be an ordinary man. So to guard them from that, he is called as he has no form. It's a blasphemy to assign a form to the Lord, which is a reality, which is a fact. We cannot assign a form to the Lord, a material form to the Lord. But then what is the deity then? This is deity's revealed form. In the form of material nature, he comes in order, because we cannot see him, he is alaksham, and therefore he comes in a way that we can see him. And he accepts service, and that is it's actually an anugraha of the Lord, or mercy of the Lord, that he comes in a form that we can actually, he is immeasurable, sankhyanayasya, even the material world is sankhyanayasya, but he is coming in a apparently finite form so that we can actually serve him. But this form, that Tribhanga Lalitam and Shyamasundaram, this is revealed form of the Lord. This is described in the Veda mantra, which is again revelation of the Lord, revelation by the Lord given to us. So it is not a concocted, we decided that we let him have a flute instead of a violin or something like that. We did not choose these things. It was given in the Veda Shastra, and accordingly, paintings or anything is done. So that becomes a form of meditation. So that is where the deity form comes in. But to give and to assign a material form to the Lord is blasphemy, which is what some other religions they say, and which is a fact. But their understanding is contorted when they apply that to the deity as well. This is where their understanding becomes contorted, distorted, and they committed atrocities in the name of, by destroying temples and vigrahas. This is a misunderstanding of their teachings. So the real purpose is actually this. Anything else? It's okay, we'll stop here. Very late. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.